Well, he has won multiple Grammys and was part of not one, but two of the most iconic bands of all time.
I needed somewhere to hang my head without your news. You gave me something that I didn't have, but I know.
Dave Grohl was once Nirvana's drummer. He then went on to front the Foo Fighters. And today, we're taking a look at Grohl's early days through the pages of a book penned by none other than his mom, Virginia Grohl. The book is called From Cradle to Stage, Stories from the Mothers Who Rocked and Raised Rock Stars. And Virginia's in our guest in studio this morning. Welcome to Your Morning.
Thank you.
All right, you are the mom behind the man. Was there a moment, you spent a lot of time backstage, was there a moment when you were looking around thinking, this needs to be a story, this needs to be a book?
Well, there was a moment, and it was, I can't take credit for it. A friend was with me, and we sat behind the stage at a lot of shows, and she was and is David's lawyer. So she's been with him since Nirvana. And I said to her, I never see any other mothers here. I wonder where they are. They're missing out on a lot of fun. And she said, honestly, it was this simple. You should go find them. You should write a book.
It's also fascinating to learn about what you saw and experienced backstage, because not all rock stars want their moms backstage.
I
watching what goes on the road.
I know.
Let's talk about Dave when he was younger and about your role in his love of music. You took them to jazz clubs, you would turn up the radio, you would sing along with them. As a mom, when he started to show this interest and this knack for music, right? Taught himself to play guitar when he was 12. How did you balance between wanting to encourage his passion and the talent that he obviously had, and balance that with the fears of a mom saying, I know what can come along with the life of a rock star?
Well, I don't think I did know what could come along. I mean, you know, there were some terrifying stories at the time out there. But I had always loved music and been interested in performing in small theaters and doing music things too. So I knew that how much fun it is and how much joy there is in that kind of a life.
It's a fun read because you've interviewed 18 other rock moms, and I want to read some of them. Miranda Lambert's mom, Kurt Cobain's mom, Geddy Lee's mom, the mother of Amy Winehouse. What is the thread that you noticed between all of these mom stories?
Well, they were all determined. And all the mothers gave their support in very different ways and at very different times. Some were harder to convince that this was a good idea. But I guess I've said this so many times, but the really most amazing, surprising thing was that all of them decided very early that they were going to lead a life in music. And the age was 12.
Well, you made a very tough decision, or maybe it wasn't tough for you, to let Dave quit school, tour with the band in Europe when he was just 17 years old. What impact did that have?
Well, I knew it was the right thing to do. The backstory of that is that David and his sister and I all got in the car every morning at 6:45 and went to the same school where I taught, and they attended classes. And it was a fairly small school. David was very popular. Everybody loved him. But he was just the worst student. He just didn't have any interest in any of it. And so it was a struggle for him to, keep optimistic about it, but it wasn't going to happen. So when he was invited to go to Europe, I thought, that's the best education anybody's going to get.
I want to fast forward to his time with Nirvana, of course, the tragic death of Kurt Cobain. You are there as a mom. You see this happen. What is going through your mind at the time? And how did you support them through it?
Well, I was on the other end of the side of the country. I was on the East Coast in Virginia when that was happening. I was teaching. And in fact, I found out, one of my students told me about it when it happened. And then David came back to be at home. It was tough. It was a very difficult time. He lost his sense of the wonders of music, I think. It was just so tragic, and It wasn't unexpected, I think it was, but it was shocking. So there were all kinds of feelings and things. Just took time and a place where you could breathe and have familiar surroundings. And it took time for him to get through that.
It's a fascinating read, not just your story and the story of being the mom behind the man, but also the other stories of mothers whose kids like to rock. The book is called Cradle to Stage, Stories from the Mothers Who Rocked and Raised Rock Stars. Thanks so much for coming, Virginia.
Thanks, I enjoyed it.
Good to hear you.